Following that keynote is the third one, which is by Lookout on endpoint to cloud security by Mr. Surojit Dasgupta, Country Manager, India and SAARC region. Lookout Inc., may I request him to please take the stage and take us through this segment. Over to you, Mr. Surojit.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Fantastic. Great to be back in person in the stage after almost 3 years, 2 years of almost COVID. So great to be back out here. And we're almost at the fag end of the day. Great to see so many people in the room out here. So before I talk to you about my presentation, I want to talk to you about a little bit about the company, Lookout, right? So what we do basically. So we were founded in 2007, right, in US, primarily focused on mobile endpoint security, right? There are a few figures that are on the screen. I'm going to keep on coming back to these figures, right? 205 million mobile devices, right? I repeat, 205 million mobile devices that we manage, 170 million mobile apps that we analyze, more than 16,500 SaaS apps that we analyze, and we look at almost around 1,600 threat families, right? This is what we do from a mobile telemetry data point of view, right? Now, we've been a leader in the last 15 years in mobile endpoint security. Now, mobile and cloud go hand in hand. We expanded our offering into cloud security with the acquisition of CipherCloud early last year, right? And now we have an entire platform of mobile endpoint security in India. We secure more than 5 lakh businesses across the globe, right from governments, large enterprises, and even SMB customers. Now, we all know COVID changed the world, right? Now, what is happening presently, right? You see, there's a lot of mobile penetration. We've been all using mobile like never before, right? There's a lot of increase in how people use mobiles, right? A lot of businesses are now front-ending with their mobile apps, right? The first point of reaching out to a business is through mobile app, right? Cloud adoption is definitely growing. And one major change we see is that the increased use of personal devices to access enterprise data, right? So what's the new reality? It's more mobile, more apps, and of course, more cloud. And this is true for our work life, and this is true for our personal life as well. Right. Now, what are the new trends that are happening? If you see from organizations, right, they want remote hybrid working, right? Now, once you have remote hybrid working, you're also looking at more mobile and more BYD devices as well, right? And of course, there's a lot of cloud. Along with that, the IT department also has to enable business, ensure a good user interface as well, a good user experience as well on this, right? Now, once you have this, then there's a lot of impact. It impacts not only the users, the devices, but also applications. And when I talk about applications, the applications can be your SaaS applications, your private applications, as well as your web applications, right? And what is the majority of this impact? It's sensitive data, right? Because there are a lot of risks to this sensitive data, right? From ransomware, which my earlier speaker has been speaking right now, from device compromise, from your account compromise, from your insider threats. So in the new world, what are organizations looking at? They're looking at empowered and secure hybrid workforce for a better and end user experience, modernize IT security, as well as mitigate and mitigate cyber threats. Now, coming back to what Lookout has to offer on this. Before I come to the Lookout offering, since we've been a leader in the mobile space, I want to throw you a graph. The graph which you see beside me, right? This is live from lookout.com, our website, right? If you see, India is one of the most highly attacked countries in terms of phishing encounter rates as well as mobile app threats. Sorry. Right? Now, also, let me also point out that Lookout stopped more than 3 million mobile threats last year. And how did you do it, right? The secret sauce for us is our Lookout security graph, right? This is what we call it as unrivaled mobile security data set, right? If you remember the slides, the data which I put in the first slide, more than 200 million Lookout devices that we get telemetry data from, 160 million plus apps, 4.5 billion web items analyzed. And let me also make it that, you know, the threats on the mobile are very different from the threats that happens on your laptop and your desktop, right? So attacks are specifically carved for your mobile. They may be neutral or may not work for the laptop or the desktop, and vice versa. Right. Now, threat actors have definitely shifted their focus to mobile. The reason, the path of least resistance. And as I mentioned in that earlier slide, if you look at India, it's close to around 38.7% is the phishing encounter rate that we see in India, right? And there's a reason why, you know, they shifted to mobile. Of course, mobiles are much more less secured than a traditional company-owned laptop or a desktop devices. It's always on, right? And it has a mix of personal data as well as your corporate data. So where does the mobile risk reside? Of course, I'm not going to read through everything, right, because of the constraints in time. But if you look from the slide out here, there are threats. There are threats like the Pegasus kind of thing, which we have all heard of, right? Then there are software vulnerabilities, and there are behavior and configuration issues, right? Now, let me explain to you how a typical mobile kill chain works, right? Now, if you see an employee or an individual receives something in social engineering, right? Maybe a personal email, right? Some text message or some social media message, right? Which prompts a user to do two things, right? And when they click on that link or something, they will either get to install a malware or they may be taken to a malicious site. Once they do this, then the data is exfiltrated. And once your data is exfiltrated and the user and the attacker has your IDs and everything, they access your enterprise data, they can access your the cloud credentials as well. So what Lookout protects against? Lookout protects against a vast majority of things, right? Like from app-based threats, right? Device-based threats, network-based threats, as well as web and content, right? Most importantly, it protects from corporate data being compromised. So here is something which we have been speaking before, is a mobile risk matrix, right? Mobile risks are plenty. I'm not going to read through all the things out here, but if you look at the 4 broad contents where mobile risk resides, they are web and content, apps, network, as well as a device. And it can be, like you see in the left-hand side, it's threats, software vulnerabilities, and behavior configurations. Most of the time, when we have conversations with customers, they come back and say that we have an MDM solution with us, right? Or a UAM solution with us. So I think we are fairly protected. We wanted to just show you that if you look at this blocks which are in green, these are the only 3 blocks that an MDM protect an user, right? Rest of all these blocks, they do not protect your users. So this is the need why you need to look for a mobile threat defense kind of a solution. Lookout has an integrated mobile security platform covering this entire gamut of threats that we talk about, that we protect against this, including a mobile endpoint EDR. And of course, like for everything, there's no one size that fits all. Different organizations have different maturity levels in terms of the security through mobiles, right? So we sell it in different options and bundles to our customers. Right? Now, how it works is fairly simple, right? There's no rocket science of 5 days of putting configurations, policies, and everything. It's pretty simple. You log into the Lookout console. Once it's connected, your users are automatically connected to the Lookout security cloud, and then your users can access any of the SaaS apps or anything with full confidence that your corporate data is protected. So in way, we provide actually a zero trust for your iOS devices, for your Android devices as well as your Chrome OS devices, right? Also, a point to be noted is that mobile devices are pretty easy to remediate as well. Unlike your corporate desktop or laptop, which may need to be taken to your IT team, here 95% of the cases a self-remediation can be done. I spoke to you about threats, how we do it, but one thing with a mobile, this is very unique, is respecting user privacy. Typically, mobile devices are all owned by the user. They do not like, post office hours, whatever I am doing, that's none of the organizations look out, or there shouldn't be anyone, who should be tracking me, which site I am going, what app I am looking at night, right? So Lookout is GDPR compliant. We're going to be also compliant with whatever privacy laws that comes into India, right? But so we respect the user privacy, right? The user itself can see what we can see and what we do not, right? So we do not look at any user's personal email, personal photos. We do not report back what sites he has gone to, which sites he has visited, which app he has visited, right? So we have full respecting the user privacy because mobile is basically a private device, not owned by the organization in most of the case. Right. Now I spoke to you about mobile endpoint security. Now if I speak to you about mobile endpoint security, mobile app security is not very far behind, right? This is the second offering that we do from Lookout. We do, it's called, through our SDK, which we call as App Defense, where if we protect the mobile apps, right, of organizations. Now, in this, we typically, if you look at regulatory bodies, like for example, in India, right, the Reserve Bank of India has a circular by the name of Digital Payment Security Controls thing, which they advise banks that the mobile banking app should have certain things which helps to have it anti-malware capabilities built into it, right? We are extremely honored and privileged that some of the largest banks in India trust in Lookout for this particular thing, which we call as App Defense, which is our mobile app security. This is a timeline of all the threats that we discover as a leader in this space of mobile endpoint security and mobile app security. So we were the first ones to have discovered Pegasus way back in 2016 when it came, and then again in 2021 when it resurfaced again. Right? Like we said, we have been a leader in the mobile space, and we are making great strides into our cloud security portfolio as well. If you see the Gartner report on the side out here, we are a visionary in this, right? So I will not talk about SSE. I think I think all of you have enough of thing what SSE does, but we basically play in the SSE space with our secure web gateway, with our CASB, with our ZTNA solution, right? So I'm just giving a slide out here in terms of we are a Gartner visionary, like we mentioned. Point to be noted out here is that we are in the top 3 in all the 4 critical use cases that Gartner has come out with, right, among all the vendors out there. And in the below, you will see that we have also been putting up a Gartner peer report. So customers who are using us, they're also very happy with the solution that they use. So I'm not going to read out the entire thing in terms of it, but this is again from the Gartner Magic Quadrant report, right? What I'm going to leave you with is the sentence that clients looking for a comprehensive SSE solution should consider Lookout. Now, why customers choose Lookout? A single platform to identify, detect, protect, and also remediate, right? Limitless scale, we are cloud delivered, right? So right from a small SMB customer to a large enterprise, we have got limitless scale, and we've been an industry leader for many years. This is a partial list of some of our global customers that trust us. So whether you are a government, whether you are a large enterprise, you're a small enterprise, or you're an SMB, Lookout has an offering for you on this. Thank you. We are in booth number 28, so any questions, feel free to come and meet me and the team out there, and I'm just on time. Thank you so much.